Hey y'all, we got a bunch of awesome updates coming in from thru hikers out there on the trail. There's a lot of stuff going on, some that are awesome, some that are not so awesome, and at least one that's a little TMI, fair warning out there. So let's go ahead and dive right into what's going on with the Appalachian Trail. So we got Chuck and Bluegrass. They have crossed over into New Hampshire, and Chuck celebrated his 63rd birthday on trail this past week. So that gives us baby boomers the courage to continue on, right? That's awesome. Happy birthday to you, Chuck. He said Vermont was hot and humid, but the trail was in good shape with only a few patches of mud on it. So, you know, typically Vermont is called Vermud, and that's because you'll be up to your ankles in mud before you know it. And believe me, when Come Along and I went through there, there was a lot of mud on the trail, and that can make it miserable. So good to hear that that's kind of calmed down. They were fortunate to get ahead of the rain. They had some awesome trail magic there in Norwich. So Stone, who was a thru hiker from 2022, put them up at his house in their yard, gave them showers, had flush toilets there, and that's important. That's nice trail magic on the trail, believe me. But he also fed them in the morning with some Vermont maple syrup that he had made himself, and then gave them some trail knowledge and just stuff from his thru hike of what they need to know. Of course, 2022, that was 22 years ago, so things have changed immensely on the trail since then. So I'm sure that advice he gave him, though, was it doesn't matter, it's still the same trail, right? Same the treadway. So I'm sure that has gave them good advice, and just to spur them on and to keep them going, even though it's getting close to the end of their hike. That's awesome to be able to get those kind of information from thru hikers, and I love hearing the stories about what people encounter on the trail. That's really neat. You just never know what you're going to run into the trail. So that's pretty awesome trail magic. Here's a story that's not so awesome. So Tick Maggot, he had a very, very rough week this past week. He's had some pretty significant health issues that have, even though he's driven through those, they've still been, you know, difficult. He's had vertigo, he's had GI issues, he's had chafing, which is probably the worst of those issues. But he got off trail, and he went to the doctor to try to figure out what was going on. So he got tested for every waterborne pathogen that you could get, including Giardia, and he didn't have Giardia. So he thinks that the vertigo was maybe coming in from a loss of electrolytes. So Tick Magnet, I got something for that loss of electrolytes. Here's what happened to me and Trail Boss on the trail.
Hey, honey.
Hey.
You look like you have ED.
I do. Seriously, I feel like I got ED. But I tell you what, I got something that's going to fix us for that electrolyte dysfunction. It's called LMNT Drink Mix, and it's got everything you need to fix you with those electrolytes that we've been sweating out here while we're out here on the trail. It's got 1,000 milligrams of sodium, 200 milligrams of potassium, and 60 milligrams of magnesium. Everything you need that your body's been sweating out. None of the junk, no sugar, none of that stuff like that.
For real?
Seriously. You got any friends that want any?
Oh, I'm sure I have some.
I tell you what, then, you send them to my website, drinklmnt.com/Ramdino, and with every order, whether it be the powdered version or whether it be the sparkling version, they'll get a free sample pack of all the flavors that they have out there in the powdered form.
Oh, that's great. How do they order again?
They go to drinklmnt.com/Ramdino. That's drinklmnt.com/Ramdino.
And you're sure it's going to fix the ED?
It's going to fix the electrolyte dysfunction. Yes, ma'am.
All right. Well, I'll see you at the shelter then, dear.
All right. I'm on the way.
Make sure you drink too, though.
I'm coming. Woohoo! Hey, what goes on trail stays on trail, right? Anyway, back to Tick Magnet. So,
hey, Ramdino, it's Tick Magnet. I'm here today from the Potomac Appalachian Trail Club's Blackburn Trail Center. They said to say hi to you there. At any rate, I hope you're doing well. I've had over a week now of really bad diarrhea and all sorts of intestinal problems. I went to the doctor 3 or 4 days ago and they did all sorts of tests. They found out that I didn't have Giardia and they couldn't trace it to anything else. So I don't know what it is, but I'm dehydrated and lost a lot of electrolytes, so I'm having a lot of problems here. But I'm hoping to get to Harper's Ferry today, the last 11 or 12 miles up the road, and then we'll see how it goes from there. At any rate, thank you so much for all that you do, and hope to see you up the trail further.
So he was hoping to make it to Harper's Ferry, and then he was going to decide then if he was going to get off or what he was going to do. So I hadn't heard back from him, so hopefully we'll be able to report next week that he got straightened out and got back on trail and got things going good again. Sweet Potato, she had flipped ahead, and so she summited Katahdin, and now she's heading back south on the AT to meet back up where she flipped back up. So she's heading Sobo now, and she sends in this video.
Hey, from Maine. Just finished the 100-mile wilderness. I lost, my phone broke, and it was a really hard week. I have no documentation from that, and it is hot, muggy, buggy, and wet and humid. The trail here in Maine has been pretty much a swampy mess the whole way through. There are some footbridges, but the truth is they are slippery, and so sometimes it's easier just to walk in the mud. One of the hardest things in northern Maine has been navigating the rocks, mud, and roots. It's not too bad through here, but it has slowed me down considerably. Each step has to be thought out, and that is mentally exhausting. In addition to all of that, Maine has been just really challenging for me. The fording, due to the hurricane, the levels were quadruple what they normally were. Know before you go sort of thing, and I didn't. The information just isn't out there, I don't think. So I talked to the woman at the ATC, and she was helpful, and I talked about the lack of information. Some of the fords were not advisable, not considered safe, and some were just not considered, they were unpassable. And so those sections are sanctioned to, it's okay if you walk around. So I did that in a lot of cases, avoided the high waters. I am looking forward to southern Maine, and hopefully with the cooling weather coming in, it will be much more enjoyable.
Man, I hope there's some thru hikers out there watching this, because that was some great information out there. So that's the kind of, I appreciate all the videos that people send in of how things are going from the trail, and we want that. But when somebody gives that kind of detailed information and showing the trail, that is awesome. So great job there, Sweet Potato. Appreciate that. Piercy, he is north of Harper's Ferry, or somewhere around that general vicinity. He says the water has been really bad. Some of the shelter water is slowing down. He said that it's getting kind of scary out there because the water sources between shelters are pretty much dried up altogether. So that has been tough for him. He's been having to haul 3 to 4 liters of water out of the shelter. So that's approaching like 10 plus pounds that he's carrying just in water alone. And that is not fun. He did say that he's going to be flipping up the Delaware Water Gap. Hopefully the unbearable heat that he's been going through, that's going to drop down a little bit, and I believe it has this coming week. So hopefully, summer has not broken yet at all, so we're still going to have some pretty significant heat coming up, but hopefully that's going to work for him. He also mentioned it's just been really hot at night and sleeping, and so that is very difficult. I can't sleep when it's 90, 85, 90 degrees and high humidity outside. You're just sweating inside your tent. You can't get a good breeze blowing through. If you're not getting good sleep at night, that is really going to wane on you physically, and of course physically equals mentally, and even mentally alone, those two aspects can cause people to get off trail. They're just tired sick and tired of being sick and tired, I guess. So that happens to people from time to time. But right now, Piercy is Charlie Mikan, and hopefully everything's going to be good when he flips back up. 111, he has made it to Connecticut, the first of this week, so he may be in Massachusetts by now. He said it was awesome in Connecticut, still blistering hot. He has been across water caches, and those have really saved hikers out there. So thanks a lot to you trail angels that are helping out with those water caches out there. And he did say there was a pop-up thunderstorm that came through, so hopefully that's going to recharge some springs. But unless you have decent water or decent rain on a regular basis, it may recharge them for a little bit, but it does not last. He did send us in this update.
Good afternoon, Ramdino and family. Hope everybody's doing well. It's 111. Just want to let you know I am about to enter Connecticut. Wow. Yeah. 10 states in, baby. Woohoo. I'm excited. Hope everybody's doing well. Talk to you soon. It's hot out here. Bye-bye.
And Matt Hermit, he has made it to Dalton, Massachusetts, and he sent in this restaurant update.
Hey Ramdino, it's Matt Hermit checking in with you from Angelina's Sub Shop in Dalton, Massachusetts. Traffic on the trail has been pretty steady at about 6 tenths per night per campsite. The weather's finally broken out of the humidity and severe heat, and now we got a breeze and lower temperature. It's been great. Hey, thanks again for all you do.
Yep, those delis can really come in handy when you're hiking up there and you don't have to get to them far off the trail. Payday, not to be outdone, he sent in this taco update.
Hey Ramdino, it's Payday, coming to you from Harry's Hot Burrito in Dalton, Massachusetts. Not traditional video on the trail, but I just had to check this place out. The food is phenomenal. Trail update, the weather is finally broken. It is no longer in the 90s and hot, humid all the time. I think last night it dropped to about 50, which felt amazing for sleeping. So the morale is back up, vibes are back up, feeling good, feeling motivated to hike again. I'm not dripping sweat all day. Still heading north.
Well, it definitely looks like hiker hunger has set in with Payday. If you caught a shot of that plate, it looks like he had 3 or 4 giant tacos there. Inchworm, he summited on his flip-flop, and he'll be getting back on trail and continuing his hike to finish up. Randy is a viewer, and she says that Captain Jack has started on his yo-yo, so we haven't been sending out updates for Captain Jack. A lot of you folks are watching Captain Jack's channel. I don't have time to go to everybody's channel, so I'm only giving you those updates where they were pushed to me from the thru hikers themselves. So it's just too many of them out there for me to keep up with and to do that. Captain Jack hadn't been updating us, unfortunately, but if somebody sends in me an update on another hiker, I'll be glad to include that. And so for you folks that don't know what a yo-yo is that just like a yo-yo goes up and down, you hike a no-bow or sobo, but typically it's only done no-bow, sobo. So you're going to hike a no-bow all the way up to Katahdin Summit, turn right back around and head down on your sobo back to Springer. So folks out there, keep me updated on how Captain Jack's doing. Or Captain Jack, if you watch this, you can include your updates as well. Love to have you as part of the channel and what's going on out there. Spurs, he reported in last week that he had made it to New Jersey, so he is probably in Connecticut or maybe he's in Massachusetts by now. Polar Bear and Spamalot, they are on their Sobo trip, and they should be in Vermont, maybe in Massachusetts by now. Caboose is in New Jersey with her family. Caboose has a YouTube channel as well, and all of those YouTube channels or Instagram or trail journals, any of those, they can be found down below in the link where I have my support list. And you can go there, and whether you're a thru hiker and you want your name on there, you can put your name on there so people can find your social media, or in social media includes, you know, the trail journals that's out there that's strictly in written form. Or if you're part of the hiker community and you want to follow along with somebody and find their social media accounts there, that is probably the best place I know of. And I'm not tooting my own horn at all, because this is done, I just created it, but other folks, thru hikers, have filled it in. But that is where you can go and find thru hikers that are out there on the trail. I've got some exciting news about that support list for 2025. We're going to talk about that in just a minute. So some folks that got off trail this week, Jeff and Micah, they have called their hike done, complete. They got everything that they need to get out of the Appalachian Trail. And so they made it to Nobo Mile 700, which is nothing to sneeze about. I'm sure the heat and the lack of water out there was part of it, but it could just be that, hey, we've enjoyed, and they indicate this, they've enjoyed everything about God's creation. We've seen everything that we feel like that we need to see, and so we're going to section hike from here on out and finish the Appalachian Trail that way. So that is awesome. Just the fact that they got out there, man, is just really neat. And those folks that do that, even if they don't complete, man, I got mad respect for people that get out there and attempt to do a through hike. So that's awesome. Congratulations for them. Sorry you couldn't finish, but look forward to what goes on with you from now on. And happy hiking and happy trails on the rest of your adventures. We're going to miss your updates. And then we had a summit. So Scat Master, he finished and summited Mama K, and his Nobo number was number 105. So that means he was the 105th Nobo Pure person to summit Katahdin there at Baxter Peak so far this year. And then Mary, who's a viewer, she sent in her daughter Survey, also summited this past week, and Survey was Nobo number 92, and she started her quest leaving Springer on March 16th. So that's awesome to hear. If you're a thru hiker out there and you finish, or you know of a thru hiker that finished, send me in or send in your summit picture. Love to have those summit pictures up there, and also what Nobo number you were and when you left Springer. We want to celebrate with you. The whole hiker community does, and so we'll be glad to feature your feat of what you did out there and completing your quest. I think that's just awesome for folks. So some news we got out there. First, a little personal news. So this past week we had the celebration of life of my good buddy Darren, who's my best friend in high school and the best friend you could ask for. A lot of you folks were praying for him. He died of a glioblastoma, which is brain cancer. So I want to thank you for those prayers that you put up for him and for me as I tried to bring him to the point of salvation. Don't know if he ever did that or not. And I pray that somewhere along the line that he did that, because I want to see him when I get to heaven. So thanks a lot for your prayers. Thanks a lot for your good vibes and everything that folks sent out there for him. It was a very difficult ceremony for me, probably the most emotional that I have been, and I'm not an emotional person, believe it or not, but it was emotional probably since my mamaw died. So it was tough to eulogize him and to be there, and but it was part of the grieving process. So thanks a lot for you folks out there that again prayed for me, sent me your good vibes, your good wishes, and everything like that. That means the world to me to have a community there that comes behind me and does things like that. So thanks a lot. Greatly appreciate that. Whispers, who's our northern correspondent, he says the thru hikers are definitely in his area, and that is the Whites. So he says they're definitely up there in mass. He shared a full goose shelter in the Mahoosucs this past week with about a dozen thru hikers up there. And of course the hiker heat map indicates the same. So the hikers are well into New England now, Maine, New Hampshire, Vermont, Massachusetts. So they are well into that area, and of course they're all spread out, and that's what you expect the bubble to be when you get up there. Whispers also reported in that a 14-year-old girl had been rescued there on the Appalachian Trail between Pierce Pond and the Kennebec Ferry, which is around the Currituck, Maine area. And so when she was airlifted out of there, she was unconscious, don't know anything else about her. So hopefully she's okay. I do know that the pilot that put it down, that chopper down in this small area, is a pretty awesome pilot, because believe it or not, that is not easy to do, and that is a very dangerous situation to put a chopper down with trees that close to you. So, the big gust of wind could blow you into something. You just don't ever know. So kudos to the rescue folks out there that put themselves in harm's way every day to go out and rescue people off the trail, and first responders in general. So pretty awesome stuff going on out there. Sadie, lost hiker dog that we've been reporting about for months now, has still not been found. We continue to get reports back in on the Facebook page for her of dogs that other people have seen on shelter sites and lost dog sites, things of that nature, and found dog sites. So thanks a lot for you folks that are doing that. That Facebook page is monitored by Bright Eyes, her mom, and then also by other people who know what to look for on Sadie, know the markings to look for on Sadie. And so thanks a lot for sending all those in and people monitoring that. Bright Eyes is Canadian, so she is coming down in the next few weeks to continue the ground search for Sadie. But continue to send all those in. We've probably had hundreds of those spottings by now. None of those have panned out, but it only has to pan out one time, folks. So please continue to send those in, no matter where they are in the country, because Sadie, we feel like, was possibly abducted. And so Sadie could have been taken anywhere in the country. So continue to send those in. They are great, great information to have, but they keep hope alive. And so thanks a lot for doing that. And then we got a great training event coming up for you 2025 hikers. So the Woods Hole Hostel has got a training event coming up, and that is September 19th to the 22nd. And this is a time where if you want to come and be around folks that are other thru hikers, folks that know a lot about the trail, a lot about thru hiking, this is the event to come to. So it's a Woods Hole Hostel. If you'll go to the link down below there, and the link is an email, so you'll have to request an application. One will be sent to you for that. There's a limited amount of people that can come to this. I think it's only like maybe 12 or 20, I'm not sure. And there is a small fee to cover food and stuff like that. So it's all volunteers that will be instructors there. Believe it or not, I'm going to be an instructor there. Not a thru hiker, but I've done a half to 2/3 of the trail, and I've been exposed to about everything there is to know about thru hiking from probably well over 1,000 thru hikers that I've corresponded with over the past couple years. So I guess that's why they asked me to be there, but I'm going to be there as an instructor as well, and a lot of other people who are a whole lot more knowledgeable than me going to be there. So it's going to be a good event. So I would encourage you, if you want to go to something that's pretty inexpensive, if you ask me, I think it's only like $225, then this would be a great event for you to go to for not only the knowledge, but the fellowship, and you'll have access to people that you can ask a plethora of information. There's also going to be a practical portion of it where you're actually going to be outside camping. So you'll have a chance to run through and test your gear and ask questions of folks that'll be able to answer those. So I'd encourage you to go and take a look at that. Last week, I talked about some exciting news for thru hikers for 2025 coming up. So typically, I start my support list and start having people sign up for that list in October. October being the time when the no-bows are done, because Katahdin closes in mid-October, even early October if the conditions are right. Well, I'm starting it now. Just felt like that need to start it earlier, because folks out there, they're already getting their gear together, already posting videos, and we want to support you as early as possible. So I've started that support list. The link to put yourself on that is down below. So if you'll go and fill out that form, it'll populate to a Google spreadsheet, and the link to that spreadsheet for the hiker community to go and find you is also down below. So go and find that and go and fill that out. Last year we had over 200 folks out there. And depending on how much you vlog your trip, and it doesn't matter if you're YouTuber, Instagrammer, trail journals, any of that, there's a spot there for you on that. Also, if you're going to be hiking for a particular charity, then you can put that there, and put a link to how people can contribute to your charity and on your hike, as well as we like to represent the veterans that are out there hiking, and so and first responders. There's a place there to fill that out as well. So go and do that. We're starting it now. Awful excited about that. Can't wait to see what the class of 2025 has got for us coming up. And then we've also got the ALDA, which is the Appalachian Long Distance Hikers Association. Their biannual gathering is starting, and they do a one in the north and one in the south. So the southern one is happening now, and so that is called the Gathering, and that is going to be in Abington, Virginia. So I'll leave a link to that down below. That is October 11th through the 13th. So that is a great time. There'll be classes there and vendors and just a lot of fellowship amongst the hiker community. So whether you are a thru hiker wannabe or somebody who wants to get out on trail or is already on trail out there hiking sections, and it doesn't have to be the AT, it's just wherever, this would be a great event to go and just hang out with the hiker community. So I encourage you to do that. And then Ewok, who's a viewer, she sends in that Bennington, Vermont this coming weekend, July 27th, is having a trail fest. So go and check them out. The link to that is down below as well. If you're hikers in that area, there'll be some freebies for you up there. And just a good place to go, and kind of like it's a mini Damascus Trail Fest, trail days that they have. Many only because this is only, I believe, the third year that they've had it up there. So it's growing, and it'll be a good place for y'all to go and just hang out if you're part of the hiker community. And then head on over to this link right here. I finished my uploading of my Virginia trail hike that I did, trail section that I did recently, where I kind of started and made some mistakes to begin with, but it all panned out. Some of them were mistakes that I was a little worried about, whether I was going to survive the trip or not, or whether I was going to bail out, but I didn't, and everything worked out for the best. So go and check that out. And there's also a link here that's all my Virginia section hikes. So if you got any inkling about wanting to know about the trail in Virginia, there's a lot of hikes here, all on the Appalachian Trail section hikes that I've done, almost getting close to the Shanties. So everything from Damascus in Virginia, or actually the Virginia state line, or actually my sections have been all the way from Springer up to this point right here. And then I've also got Massachusetts and Vermont in there, and Pennsylvania down to the, not the Blackburn Trail Center, but I think it's Black Bear Hostel that's done by the ATC down there. So a lot of good stuff there. If you're wanting to know about the Appalachian Trail sections, that's the place to go find it. Folks, that's all I got this week. As always, appreciate you, and we hope to see you out here.